Al dente. Nice and dirty like. It's a hell of an experiment. It is awesome. Welcome to Cooking with Squirrel. If you're new here, I'm the Squirrel. Last week, Andrew Ray from Binging with Babish put out his Meat-Ghetti and Spag-Balls video. It did not go well for him. At the end of the video, he challenged his viewers to try and do better than he did, and then post the results to Instagram using hashtag #BabishBalls. So, we're going to try and beat some Babish balls today. Not really using a recipe, just kind of winging it, had a couple ideas, and an interesting new toy. We'll get into that in a little bit. So let's give this a shot. Behold today's squirrel shirt. You will recognize it from the picture earlier. It is in my top 3 of all-time favorites. Here's the theory. This is a flank steak, and I don't know if you can see or not, but the fibers run the entire length. We braise this, and this will break down into long, thin fibers, very much like spaghetti noodles. We'll make some simple tomato sauce from scratch. We'll cook some regular spaghetti, and then this is my secret theoretical weapon. These are silicone molds made for making spheres. So my theory is that we par cook the spaghetti, fill these spherical silicone indentations, fill that in with a panade, which is what you use to bind a meatball and season a meatball and make it nice and juicy and tender, and then bake these, and in theory we can pop them out and they'll be perfect spheres of spag ball. Alright, so let's get this flank steak braising. So normally when you would do this, you would sear this really hard to get nice Maillard effect, color, flavor, etc. However, because we're trying to make spaghetti noodles out of this, we're gonna skip that step and we're just going to put this into a heavy bottom pan, throw some beef stock in with it, bring it up to a boil, and then we're going to throw it in the oven and cook it until we can pull it apart into little strips. So let's get our meat in. We can give this a little bit of a salting. And in with some beef stock. There we go. And turn this up to high, and we'll bring this up to simmer. All right, we got this up to a boil, as you can see, and we'll get a lid on this, get it in the oven, and we'll check on it every, I don't know, 30 minutes and see if it's starting to come apart for us. Our meat is out of the oven. As you can see, it's starting to kind of fall apart on its own. The core temperature is over 200, which is where it starts to really get shreddy and fall aparty. So I hope I didn't overdo it, but should be able to make some nice strips out of this. So we'll set it aside, let it cool so we can handle it, and we'll work on the rest of the ingredients. All right, we have achieved the most difficult of kitchen tasks, boiling water. We'll get that boiling water nice and salty. Salty like the sea, as they say. And we'll get our pasta in and we'll cook it a little al dente. Move it around a little, make sure it doesn't stick. There we go. We are al dente, but not crunchy. Let's get that drained, rinsed with some cold water to stop the cooking. Okay, got our pasta done. Now it's time to make the panade. We have 6 ounces of Italian seasoned breadcrumbs in here. We're going to add some more seasonings. This is just a generic Italian seasoning. It's got a little bit of everything in it. Garlic powder, onion powder, salt, black pepper, 4 eggs. We're gonna do 6 ounces of milk, but we're gonna kind of play it by ear. We might need a little more. We need this to really get in between our pasta noodles. Medium whisk it together. Whoever wins the Instagram contest for the Babish balls will receive a cutting board, a rolling pin, and a set of tiny whisks from Babish. I'm going to add 2 more eggs. I think the eggs are going to be key to holding this together. Might be a little thick, but we're going to give it a shot. Try it where it is at now. Okay, so we have our drained pasta, and we have our panade. And we're going to go in with a good portion of this panade and mix it in with our pasta. Here we go. We'll hold some back for topping off the molds. Let's get in here nice and dirty like. Well, this is a hell of an experiment. All right, let's see if we can get these in the molds. First thing, we will spray these down on the inside for hopefully a easy release. All right, I guess we just start shoving. So I guess just kind of try and eyeball a ball of pasta about the same size as the actual cavity. Tuck everything in there as best as we can. I think if we kind of rotate it like you do a takoyaki, that's not bad. And we'll do that 8 more times. I will say this is one of the more interesting things I've done with food. Nothing like fingering spag balls. You gotta wonder what my wife's thinking in the other room right now. The grand experiment. This is the most experimental bit of this whole thing. So let's get them in the oven, see what happens. We basically just need to cook those until they're set. So we'll check the internal temperature, make sure the eggs are cooked through, and we'll give them a shot. Now let's make a simple sauce. Let's get a pan over medium-high heat. Olive oil in, throw some onions in. I like a lot of onions and garlic in my tomato sauce, so does my wife, and she's who I'm really cooking for here. So, lots of onions, garlic will go in a little bit, a little salt, black pepper, and just for Chef John, throw a little cayenne in. And I'm going to drop in 2 anchovy fillets. We'll basically just cook those down into the sauce. You won't taste any fishiness. They will add some nice umami though. These will basically just disintegrate into here. And the onions are looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and go in with our 3 cloves of garlic. Cook that out for a minute or so. Now in with a whole can of San Marzano peeled tomatoes. And we'll rinse the can out, drop a splash of water in with the canned drippings. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give these a little crush with a potato masher. This is the large rustic style potato masher. All right, let's bring that to a simmer. And we're gonna add a little dollop of blackstrap molasses for sweetness and awesome. All right, we're at a simmer. Turn this down a little bit. All right, while that's simmering, I figure we can shred our beef. A little concerned right here. This is going to shred into smaller bits, so I'm going to kind of pull that to the side. We'll mess with that later. Basically, I'm just looking to get these down into kind of a noodly size and configuration. Could have cooked this a little longer, but I was afraid it would break down too much and it wouldn't stay in strings then. All right, there's our beef shredded. Save the rest of this for some other dish that I'll make later. And there's our mountain of beef strings. And here are our spag balls. They feel pretty firm. I'm pretty happy with that. So we're gonna let these cool off. And we'll try and get them out of this silicone in a little bit. All right, our sauce has simmered down. You can see it's much thicker now. I also added a little more sugar, a little more salt, and a little bit of dried oregano, and a splash of red wine vinegar. And the wife approves, and that's all that matters. So we're going to pull this to the side. We're going to simmer some of our Meat-Ghetti in the sauce. Then we're going to decant some of these spag balls, and we're going to try and plate. So let's see if we can get any of these guys out of here. Still pretty hot. I'm gonna try and, oh, oh, that is awesome. Oh, that's amazing. They got a little flat on the bottoms. I don't know how I would deal with that, but, oh man, those look so good. They're very hot though. Luckily I have relatively high pain tolerance. All right, sauce is up to a simmer. Let's go in with our beef. It is really hard to pan toss with this camera right here.
That's so awesome.
You see we got our meat twirl, we got our spag balls. So Meat-Ghetti, spag balls, homemade sauce, chopped parsley, a fresh grating of Parmesan Reggiano. So here we have it. Meat-Ghetti and Spag-Balls from American Dad. This is the Babish Balls Challenge. And I mean, I think I nailed it, honestly. I might be disqualified because I didn't use ground meat, but the shredded beef looks like noodles, and the spag balls are amazing. I can't wait to cut into these. So let's try this. We're gonna get a cross section on these spag balls. Oh, look at that. That's awesome. That looks so cool. It looks like a meatball. Like you can see the panade in between the noodles. Let's give it a taste. Just the meatball with sauce first. Or spag ball, I'm sorry. Spag ball with sauce. That is so weird. Okay, so the spaghetti is now cooked properly because it was baked and absorbed a little more moisture from the panade. It tastes like a meatball because of the panade. It's bizarre. It's actually pretty good. Would I suggest anybody make it? Not necessarily. This would be a good thing to do like a spaghetti pie with, though. You could use that same panade and bake your spaghetti in with panade in a pie crust and make spaghetti pie. That would be really cool. Doing this whole thing with the silicone sphere thing, I mean, that's just for fun. I don't expect anybody to do this. Let's give the meat a try. The Meat-Ghetti. So we got it, simmered it in the sauce. We got a little bit of Parmesan Reggiano on there. Look, it acts just like spaghetti. It's a you twirl it. You can twirl it. You can twirl too much, just like I always do with spaghetti. That's really actually pretty good. Flank steak is a really beefy cut, so you get a lot of nice beef flavor in there. The marinara sauce is all through, simmered in. It's really tasty. So I would never make this dish as a whole ever again, but there's things here that we've learned that you could take away and do other stuff with. So you can do a braise with any kind of shreddy meat and add in a tomato-based sauce, and it would be phenomenal. I think maybe a chuck roast would probably be a better bet. This is a little on the, chewier side, but other than that, it's really, really tasty. Super fun one. Get a bite with everything. It's good. It really is very good. Had a thought. I know who else would like Meat-Ghetti. Doggies. All right, last one, pork chop. All right. That's all. No more. No more. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider doing all the YouTube things, like, comment, and subscribe. The more interaction there is with the video, the more likely it is to get suggested to non-subscribers, which will help us grow. The default behavior of the notification bell after you subscribe is to get some notifications. If you give it a tickle and select all, you'll get notified for all my upcoming content. What do you think, Andy? Did we get the challenge done right? If anybody wants to try and poke Andrew Ray, aka Babish, try and get his attention on this video, that'd be super cool. Last but not least, if you could do me a favor, go out and do something nice for somebody today. Make the world a little bit better place. Thanks for stopping by.